To truly discern the Spirit of God, one must commit towards building an altar. Not the red cloth altar that we all know from our chief priest in the village, but a proper dwelling place established as a result of your obedience towards God's basic principles. You must commit firmly to rejecting the temptation of deliberate, intentional sin, forsaking your emotional impulse and all your personal desires. The focal point of your existence, the epicenter of your existence, must shift from self to emulating Christ, mirroring all of his attributes, all of his character. Clinging to self centered desires impairs your intimacy with God. Salvation may come, but your spiritual growth will be stunted, and then it will hinder your ability to be able to hear God's voice clearly and be forced to repeat and that cycle of continuous error over and over again, stuck in one position in time. First, adhere to the fundamental principles of God, then follow on with a regimented prayer watch. And by prayer watch, I mean praying for an extended period of time, 30 minutes to 1 hour for a start. Direct your focus on Christ. Anticipate his presence with all purposeful intent. Purposeful intent. Longer prayer sessions increase the likelihood of communicating with God because your mind might influence your will to dislodge from focusing from Christ to something else about the flesh and some past memory event that you experienced outside of God. Once you attain this state for a period of probably 2 months or 3 months, the entirety or the totality of your heart receptacles will be open to God, and you'll be able to perceive God because He has been speaking, but we have not been listening. We have been so hell bent and locked upon ourselves, locked on all that we love, all that we think, and our hearts has become so hard that we can't hear from God. The proof that you have heard from God will manifest in the daily sacrifice that He will demand of you. These sacrifices may involve relinquishing certain activities or desires that is not a sin, but God requires that you abstain from it. For instance, you may like to eat a meal 3 times per day, and God desires that you cut short that meal to 2 times per day. Eating 3 times a day is not a sin, it's not wrong, but God requires that you make that sacrifice. The moment you make that sacrifice, then you have pleased God and you have sustained your altar. On the basis of this communication, that you develop and nurture and cultivate a relationship with God, and you understand what God likes and what moves the hand of God towards your favor.